Hi, welcome to eoLIFE Education. My name is Rosie Grimmert, and myself and other eoLIFE experts, we come here to teach you all about how to use doTERRA's essential oils and doTERRA products. It's our mission that you don't ever have an essential oil or a doTERRA product that you don't know how to use. Hey, if this is your first time here, be sure and subscribe, hit that bell, because then every time that we put something up for you, you'll get notified. And of course, we love it if you would like this video too. We do our very best to answer every single question, and we love hearing in the comments about what's working for you. So hey, let's get learning here on eoLIFE Education.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm so glad to be here, and I am thankful that you invite me to speak and share about things that I love so much. And you hit topics for me that I know that you find a good connection for. So I appreciate you and your leadership, and I appreciate how you help me shine. And I just am glad that I'm part of your team because you kind of start the flow of how this all began. So learning from you and all of our leaders and getting to become a better expert myself, it's a joy to be able to share that even with more people. So thank you so much. So we're going to get started. I was so excited when Stacy asked if I would share this specific topic about being an oil detective with you all. It's one of my favorite things to do is like what oil to use when. And I know so often as we get started with essential oils, and maybe you're just brand new baby and you're like, I have lemon, lavender, and peppermint, right? How do I know what to use when? And when you have just a few oils, it's kind of really cool because you get to kind of think lavender is a really known oil for calming. So it just makes sense that when you need a calming situation, we're going to grab that. And when you need something uplifting and energizing, we're thinking about citruses and of course that peppermint. But as you grow your oil collection, you grow your knowledge and you grow how you use your oils, it can be tricky to think, well, what really oil is best for a situation? And I hope tonight that by the end of the class, I'll give you some pointers that have worked for me that you can take and use in your own home as you become your own oil detective. I love that Laura Jacobs' model, who we are so blessed to be part of her team, that her motto is an oil, I'm going to say it wrong now, a healer in every home. And being a healer in our home, right, we get to be the detective, and then we get to bring in all the resources that we have to do that. So I love that that's part of our lineage as far as our doTERRA life goes. So it's so much fun to be in the doTERRA world, in the health world, in a mindset of we are empowered as women and as leaders in our home, men of course too, not to discount that at all, but we are empowered with our essential oils to take care of our family. About 90% of what we have in our house, we're able to manage with essential oils. And of course, there's times we have to reach outside the oil box. But 9 years of using oils, what oil to use for any given situation, that's been a really fun journey. So like this slide says, things that come into play when you're picking oils, of course, who you are. And I know that sounds crazy, but who are you and how you think and what you think of is really going to come into like how you use your intuition. And we're going to talk about that later. But for me, it comes from being a wife, being a mother, being a Christ follower first and foremost, and then just educating myself with all things health. I'm absolutely no expert on all the things, but I keep that healthy mindset in place, and I research things that are applicable to my life, and it grows my knowledge. And then bringing in that essential oil is a big. So as we get started, one of the coolest things that I want to point you guys to is sometimes doTERRA's education that we have at our fingertips is often overlooked. They are so generous in the information that they give us as far as how to choose oils and what to actually choose. It's really astounding, actually. And it's been fun to watch being part of the company for so long that we used to have one book to look at, and now we have multiple books and we have multiple resources. So something that a lot of us will really get to pretty quickly is plugging into a Facebook group. Now you're going to have your local team. The person who signed you up probably has a Facebook group or some kind of social media you can plug into rather quickly. And you want to stay connected to that first person that introduced you if they're teaching and educating, because that, of course, that relationship is so important in helping you learn about your essential oils and your products. But then as a big team, we are so blessed that we have the Facebook groups such as the eoLIFE Hub. It's so great. We can collaborate and work together, and you have a bunch of leaders sharing in the eoLIFE Hub group, and we all take turns learning. We all have different giftings and strengths and how we share that, and they come across in that Facebook group when you have an oil question. That's a great group to be part of. We love the Brilliant Living group that Laura Jacobs is part of, and as long as you're in her lineage with your wellness ID number, you will be to that private group. And again, the knowledge that comes from Laura Jacobs is a whole different ball game and different set of information. Specials across the board are always going to be promoted, right? Because there's something different, but then how we all share information might be just slightly different, or you might find a different answer to the same question, not in a bad way different, but like more options. So it's fun to plug into a couple of different of the Facebook groups, because you can ask and find help in solutions. We also love the EO team gathering place, and the list could go on and on. So honestly, I'm not going to try to name all the Facebook groups because that would just be really confusing. But if you plug into the EO Hub group, for sure, that's where this is going to be live, and you can plug in anybody into that group and use that resource. Then you go into your doTERRA.com. That doTERRA.com you would think is just such a simple thing, but you guys, the wealth of knowledge there is unbelievable. Even if you didn't have a relationship with somebody holding your hand teaching you essential oils, you could become quite the expert just by going through their website. You guys, we have clicking on a specific product when you're going through the product catalog online. You can click on a product and it's going to bring up information about that product and what the main uses of it are intended. You can also scroll down to that page, and at one point there's going to be, it's called PIP. It'll be little letters and a little circle. And if you click on that PIP, what that means is product information page. That information page will dive a little bit deeper into that specific product. If you're looking for a specific ingredient list, or how maybe research that they've done, it's connected to that specific product, might be listed in that section. But you can also think about, what am I trying to solve? When you're being active for your health and your wellness plan, what do we want to get at? You can go right to their Empowered Life series. There's a bunch of different videos that have been recorded by some of doTERRA's leaders, full of education, and you can really hone in on what you're looking for. So whether it's going to be maybe your respiratory health you want to address, or maybe it's digestive health that you want to address, maybe it's some inflammation. They have so many topics there. It even goes into things like how to make do-it-yourself cleaners and things like that. So, you know, we want to get those toxins out of our house, but how do I do that, right? So you can go into that Empowered Life series and learn quite a bit of what oils might be suggested for a particular situation. As you dig deeper into your own health and wellness, you're going to realize we don't really talk about specific disease names at all, because they're kind of irrelevant in what we want to do and how we want to think. We don't necessarily care about a specific name of a disease, but we want to know, what is it creating in our bodies? Is it creating discomfort? Do we need to bring down inflammation? Do we need to bring down like a cooling sensation? We need to bring that up, or is something on fire and it's hot? Maybe you burnt your finger. You want to bring that down and cool that. What system are we about? Are we talking about your immune system? Are we talking about your digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system? When you start narrowing down what system you're working with, that's another indication of a deeper knowledge on how your own body works, and then how you can actually start preparing your body for being the best that it can be and making it work the best. So that is super important as you just keep digging into your own health. Part of what we're talking about tonight is essential oil picks, but the other part is like what's really happening in your own body, and realizing that you can sleuth that out a little bit is really important. Yeah, so if you look on their website, they have a whole section that's about body systems. Go and check that out. You also have doTERRA's science blog. You guys, I use this quite a bit when I'm trying to remember what essential oil does XYZ. I can go to the product guide, but if I really want the research to see if I'm on the right track for a really hot topic I'm researching, I might check out that doTERRA science blog, because it's going to be actual research, scientific research that's being done on that particular oil. And of course, you can check out things like PubMed too on the internet, and they will have research for a particular oil as well. So we have lots of doTERRA websites. Don't forget to use those. They're just at your fingertips. You can spend 15 minutes a day poking around in one way or another, and your knowledge base will just skyrocket. After we talk about all the online things, my favorite thing to do, and I do all the time, is I dive into my books. Now, you guys, I don't have a huge library of essential oil books because I haven't found the need for it. I do have maybe 5 or 6, but here's the ones on this page is the most. I adore the eoLIFE book. It's really my favorite. It's become my favorite because I know in what it says. I know that I can look at my essential oils in this book, but I also know that I can learn about those body systems like I was talking about. It's not just we'll use this oil for that, but it actually really breaks it down and helps to teach me about my digestive system, helps to teach me about candida, for heaven's sakes. It helps to teach me about my respiratory system. And again, when you learn those systems, it really helps to figure out what oils we're going to use. So I absolutely love this book. I highly recommend this as one of your resource guides. I do believe you can get it as an app, but not everybody is tech savvy. I don't have it as an app on my phone. It's appalling to some people. But if I want to look something up, I will get back to you after I look in my paper pages. Or quite frankly, I'll text somebody that has that right at their fingertips and get that information. So it is definitely handy if you are on your phone a lot and you like to read on your screen. But for me, books are the way to go. The book that I love is the emotions book and the essential oils, because that will really pair. Maybe you're having issues that you learn aren't necessarily physical issues, but more emotional issues that are surfacing as physical issues. I don't have this all memorized, but for example, when you keep hurting your knees, it might be that you're having a hard time moving forward. What is it that you want to move forward in your life? Do you need a new job? Do you just make a different pathway for all thing, like which way you're going in life? I don't know. But I do know if I look back, my physical symptoms and my emotional symptoms are often going hand in hand. So I use that as emotional essential when I feel like my physical isn't necessarily you, but there's a bigger thing, and maybe I'm needing to harbor and heal some emotional trauma, or address something that's maybe not trauma, but just something going on. Also, the Modern Essential book has come in very handy. And again, I think that one's on an app as well. And I like that one because it just gives another perspective of what I can learn in the eoLIFE book. And then my most favorite must-have research book that I use all the time, you guys, is this one right here, Essential Oils Unlocked. Now, this is the newest version from PJ Hanks. And you guys, I'm so blessed that she's my friend and I know her and I've learned and sat at her classes. I'd like to say I learned at her feet, because really and truly, I would sit at her feet and learn all day long. But I love this. And I'm going to flip a page open here in a second and show you why. But what is most important when you're looking at essential oils and when you're trying to detect what to do, it's not always about if it smells good, you guys. I know that's so disappointing because sometimes you don't want to maybe use an oil that doesn't smell very good. There's ways around that, absolutely. But when I start thinking about what I need to use for an essential oil, oftentimes I like most of the essence that the aromas that come out of my essential oil box, but there are a few that I could definitely keep on the shelf. But when it's time to use that oil, I'm so thankful that I have it. And how do I figure out what to use? Again, do I need to heat something up? Do I need to cool something down? Is it something that's on my skin? Is it something that's internal? Things that I can learn from this book right here, Essential Oils Unlocked. I get to learn things like, what is a sesquiterpene? What's a monoterpene? What's a ketone? You guys, these are words that before Essential Oil Life, I had no clue even how to say sesquiterpene. Now I challenge you to go say that 5 times in a row. It's kind of fun to say, and when you say it really easily, you sound really, really smart. So you can tell your friends, well, of course you need that oil. It has high sesquiterpenes in it, right? But what does that really, you can find out in this book right here. Things like ketones. I know that if I have a skin issue and I need some rejuvenating on my skin, maybe you need some, you see, take your glasses off. You have a little nice little wrinkle there, right? I don't have very many because I use essential oils, of course. But if you did need to use essential oils to help with that, ketones, you want essential oils with ketones. Well, now your bottle isn't going to say this bottle's full of ketones, right? But how are you going to learn that? You're going to go to your books. So Stacy, next slide. If you take a look here, the slide with the orange banner coming down, that's a page that we took a quick shot out of the Essential Life book. And like I said, there's so much information on each page and in each section. One of the things that you want to really hone in on is the main constituents in that essential oil. Like I was saying, if you need something with ketones, it might be listed here. Now this one on this page is pinene, apinene, alpha-pinene. I can't even read that tiny little print, but it tells us in the book what essential oils are in that specific oil. So I will know if I'm looking for something that brings inflammation down, that this oil that I'm staring at here is a really good choice. You can see not only does it give you those scientific words, which for a while are going to sound really weird if you're new to essential oils, but it also right under that tells you what they do. So it's anti-inflammatory, aromatic, antispasmodic, and it starts blurring out and I can't even read that last one. But you get the point there that these books really can help hone you into what essential oil to use. Now, to the Modern Essential book, it breaks it down a little bit more and it'll give you more percentages. And why I find that book to be really helpful is maybe I find that I need to use something like oregano. I've been working with, my books have told me I need oregano, but quite frankly, what if I'm on vacation and I don't have oregano with me, but I have 10 other oils? Likely I'm going to have something with a similar chemical makeup. And when I look in my book, I can find something like thyme oil. Thyme oil is not oregano, but it does have some of those same constituents and a little bit similar properties, I guess. So you really want to pay attention to that when you're checking out oils, because oftentimes we don't have all the oils, and that's okay. But you can figure out, if I have cassia oil, but I don't have cinnamon, well, they're from the same family. And once you learn that they're from that same family, as long as you have one of them, they might work slightly different, but they are going to work very similarly. So you can play with them a little bit, and then it's kind of
Oh no, it looks like Leah froze for just a second. Let's give it a minute and see if it comes back. Leah, did we lose you? Say anything important. We're going to start the recording again, and we don't want to miss all of your wisdom. And Rosie, did you start it? Yes, you did. Go ahead, Leah.
Okay, so when you're about things like we're talking about, you're going to find that that's a purifying component. It's calming. It's going to soothe things. It will protect things. And aldehydes are going to be something like lemongrass or litsea or cinnamon. And when you start understanding what component you have is to relate to your essential oil, that is such a good indicator of how to pick your oils. So I'm going to give you one more example, is ketones. Now, ketones are really fun because they are going to invigorate, they're going to rejuvenate, they're going to soothe and relieve and cleanse. That's the properties and the things that when you have a ketone in your, so essential oils with ketones are going to be things like peppermint, spearmint, turmeric, for example. So if you have this book right here, you can really, really help sleuth out what oils for. So the other thing I was talking, oh, sorry. We're talking about that one right here. Yeah, the Essential Oils Unlocked book. This is the one from PJ Hanks. And you guys, you have to get it if you want to really master your essential oil knowledge. And if you can get to PJ's class, you want to do that too. So besides the books, one of my favorite things is trusting your intuition. Now, the best part about using essential, and even as a beginner essential oil enthusiast, you're going to be able to sit for a moment, feel your oils. Sometimes you just stare at the box, you guys, and then you're like, you pick an oil and you don't even know why. That might be your intuition talking. No, that is your intuition talking. So even as I'm getting prepared for class, I have some essential oils that are right next to me. And what am I going to pick? I'm going to just instinctively pick balance oil. Balance oil helps calm. It helps soothe. As I had the giving Dr. Hill a drop of my balance oil before he spoke in front of a large crowd one time, simply because I carry it with me. And he was like, does anyone have balance oil? And I happened to have gotten up from class, went to the restroom, and when I came back was sitting for a break, and Dr. Hill was asking for balance oil. I don't know if my intuition said carry that balance oil so you can actually talk to Dr. Hill face to face, but regardless, my balance oil came through. It's really, really fun trusting your intuition when picking your essential oils. It's kind of my favorite, besides knowing the chemistry and understanding the essential oils and how and why they work. I would say about 60% of the time, we're going to pick an essential oil based on our intuition. You guys, you don't have to be understand every single thing in the book. I don't. I know where to go when I need it, but I don't memorize all big words. I just know when I know where to go. But what I do memorize is how my body responds when I pick up an oil. What I do memorize is digestion is going to certainly help with my digestive system. And it's a oil that's going to help break down things. So we've actually even used essential oils when we have a little bump by our eyeball and it gets uncomfortable, just by putting the essential oil of digestion diluted on my cheekbone, I've been able to help with that. Now, I didn't understand why until I went to a class and learned that digestion is going to help break things down. I didn't know that at the beginning of my essential oil life, but instinctively, that's what I had with me. And I thought, well, I might as well use it. And I did, and I got results that were beneficial. You guys, there's been so many times with my children, with my husband, and even with myself that I don't even have the answers until I sit quietly and I just think for a minute. And I just literally, I don't generally lift my hands up like this cute little guy in the slide, but I will put my hands open and I will put my heart open and I will listen to what's going on. And I don't always ask specifically what essential oil I need, but I'll ask what's happening in the body. What am I missing? What's the big picture? What's coming into place? What's influencing what the body is doing? You know, if you're in with a sunburn and you sit for a second and you think, why am I uncomfortable? You might actually just have to think, oh, I was out in the sun. I probably burned my skin, right? But if you think about, you know, why are your muscles aching? And you can sometimes really pinpoint, why is my tummy hurting? You watch for patterns in yourself. You watch for patterns in your children. I had one kid, they're bigger now, but I had a little tyke who couldn't even talk. And it took me a while to figure out why he didn't eat white food. Eventually I sat crying. He was crying on his bed. Mommy, my tummy hurts so bad. I didn't know what to do. And then I had that light bulb moment. And I was like, he has a problem digesting certain foods. And I was able to really eliminate those foods. He was happy to give them up. He didn't even speak yet, you guys. And just listening and sitting with him and holding him, I was able to figure out this was a specific food issue. And it had been going on for a while. So sometimes you just have to sit and listen what's going on and trust yourself. That's the biggest thing. Trusting what your intuition is telling you is so, so important. There's a situation happening now that about a year ago, I did some muscle, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I did some muscle testing, and the answer that I got was confirmed by an outside source. I came to another person. I said, this is what I got, and this is what my gut is telling me. What do you think? And actually, I'll back up. Before I said that, that person came to me because they've been helping me with this situation. And they were able to say, I feel like I'm getting this weird answer. And I said, that's really fun. I just had written that down myself, and I thought it was really interesting. Well, it's been over a year. We've been going through the gamut with some issues. And you guys, I'm not kidding. The result of that first moment, well, the therapy for it was pretty expensive. And so we put it off. However, working around the clock, it feels like, and working with multiple professionals, the same solution has just come up again for the third time. So do you think my intuition was onto the very beginning? Is there a reason that that came up? It was confirmed by another person. And now a year later, we're coming full circle. You guys listen to your intuition. And if you need that confirmation, talk with a friend about that. But so often in picking your essential oils, it's a matter of trusting what's going on, what essential oil is going to serve in that moment. Now, I touched really briefly on muscle testing and what that is. And that is something that I talked about in the Essential Life book. But even more importantly, amazing educator Dawn Beam did an entire class just like this about muscle testing. So you can find that recording on our YouTube video channel, and I subscribe to that, and then you can get all the different classes will be posted on that YouTube channel. But go and watch Dawn Beam's video about muscle testing. Tell us so much when we can tune in and listen. It's hard to do muscle testing here for you right now, so that's why I refer you back to Dawn. But it really is a way for your energy to speak. And sometimes it, do you need your peace oil, which is a very calming oil, or do you want your balance oil? Your first intuition might just be to grab your balance, but sometimes if you muscle test, you might find that your body will really benefit from the peace oil. So you want to make sure that you're listening to your body, and don't get so scientific that it stops you. Essential oils are complicated. They're complex. They're amazing, but it doesn't have to be complex and so hard for us to pick them. Just open your box, pick out an oil, and see what happens. Sometimes I find during my different times of the month even, my intuition will speak differently. I love the whisper oil. You guys, I love it. For 8 years. My sister, she's not so much a fan, but my body will tell me different times, that's not really the oil for you. I'll smell it like I do every day. I'll put it on and all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, that is not the thing today. So listen to your body. It will speak to you. And it's so fun when you can really tune in. But you guys, as you get to know your essential oils, know how they work, why are citruses good? You know, they have that D-limonene in them. What is D-limonene good for? Well, we know D-limonene is really good for slapping around some unhealthy cells. Drink that lemon, has D-limonene. Drink some wild orange, cleanse that yucky cell out of your body, right? So you want to like learn those keywords just so you understand those oils a little bit better. So going back to our books, like I touched on earlier, Emotions and Essential Oils book is really so much fun. There's not a lot of pictures, but there are a lot of words. And it really is something we talk a lot about with our essential oils, how they can help us in our emotional, right now in this time and day and age that we're dealing with. Does anyone else have emotional trauma happening in their house? My kids started school today. It doesn't look like any other school year. Anxieties have been running high, let me tell you. But we are able to turn to our essential oils, look at the emotions, what's going on with those emotions. And it's really fun that you can even go in the back and look up, you know, what's happening emotionally. You know, are we feeling really sincere? Like this one here, it talks about, oh, look at this, the fear of speaking. Well, good thing I don't have a fear of speaking. But if you did, you could use lavender or you could use spearmint. Now, how many children have gotten home from school and said, I have to do a project and I have to speak in front of people? Okay, maybe not this year yet, but if they even have to get on those Zoom calls with their peers and they feel a little bit nervous, have a hard time speaking up, maybe putting some spearmint or some lavender on them will be a good idea. And you can learn that right here in this book. Maybe you are feeling really numb. That's another thing that you can look up here. All these things is alphabetical, you guys. I could just go on and on. If you're feeling really numb, maybe you can't even feel emotion. This year's been really hard. Sometimes our coping skills to shut down emotionally. But what if you got the fennel out, which isn't that funny? We just had that as a free oil, right? doTERRA is so good at helping us before we even know it. We also have magnolia, which is another oil that's really good if you feel completely just shut down. Maybe you're not happy, you're not sad, you're not really feeling anything. Try grabbing that magnolia touch oil. So these are all things you can use from this book, you guys. Pick out an emotion. Maybe you know what you're feeling, you want to get to the other side. Sad, I want to get to happy. And you can really hone in on specifics like I was saying, feeling numb, not wanting to speak. The list could, it's medical, A through Z, many different emotions. So you definitely can benefit from using this essential oil book too. So I hope that you guys pop in a few questions for me. I'm happy to answer them. You don't ever want to feel crazy when you're looking at your essential oils. Using essential oils should not feel scary. Using essential oils should not feel like, wow, you have no idea. But use your books, use your, follow your intuition, and continue to learn, because knowledge is power. And the more that you have in the knowledge bank, the more you can feel empowered for you, feel empowered for your family, and feel empowered to know what to pick on any given day for you and your family. I hope that you guys have had a few light bulbs go off. We could speak forever. I could read the entire books to you, but you're going to learn a lot more when you bring those into your own life. So I invite you to check out those books, out the doTERRA website. Those are free resources. And maybe you can work with somebody that you already know has some books handy if you want to get them really quick. I also know conventions coming up, so I suggest watching for specials for these books. I know a lot of times at convention, easing out the old book and bringing in the new. So sometimes you can get special deals on that. And if you look for a special deal, you're going to also check out eoLIFE.com. That's where we can get that book. But check those, you can get those into your library. Again, you don't need 100 books on your shelf, but the important ones, Emotions, Essential Life, and PJ's book by far.
Hey, it's Rosie Grimmer again. Thanks for watching the video. We're so happy to provide things here for you to learn all about using your doTERRA oils and your doTERRA products. Hit subscribe, like the video, and share this with somebody else you know that would love to learn too. See you next time.